Hello there once again, and welcome to the Mayor's Magazine. I'm Mick Cornett, the Mayor of Oklahoma City, and this is our show for April 2013. In our first segment, we're going to learn more about the Allied Arts. Annually, they put on a campaign to raise money for the arts. Now, typically, this money is used for operations. You know about capital needs of the arts, and certainly the citizens have put in a lot of money over the years to performing arts centers like the Civic Center. But those arts organizations also need to operate, and that's where they need your help. And here with the co-chairs is John Rochelles of Devon Energy and Judy Hatfield with Equity Commercial Realty. Welcome to the Mayor's Magazine.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Thank you all both for coming in here. This is quite a responsibility when you only have the arts organizations relying on you for your operations. So first of all, were you guys just crazy when you got together and agreed to do this, or were you sane and fully inhabited?
Let's think about the appropriate answer for that, but I would think it would be passionate for the arts.
I think that's probably right. And most people understand that the arts are one of the things that really attribute a lot to the quality of life in the community. And we talk a lot in Oklahoma City about sports and the arts and about not a lot of traffic congestion and you want affordable housing and everything. And I guess my response is, well, you got to have all of that. Right. And a viable and vibrant arts community is so important to establishing the type of community that we all want to have. John, when did you first get involved in Allied Arts here?
Well, I've been involved in some way with Allied Arts for a number of years, several years, and I've always just thought that having a strong arts community and supporting the arts was a very important thing. I was previously the president of the Philharmonic. I thought that was an important part of the arts community, and I've been involved more generally with Allied Arts. But you make a great point, Mayor. When I look at it as a businessman and from Devon's point of view, you think about this wonderful community that we have, this great vibrant city, and you realize every vibrant city has a vibrant arts community because it adds so much to the culture and makes it such a great place for us all to live and work and raise our kids and bring new employees into the city. And that's the part of it, I think, that all of us know the intrinsic beauty of the arts, going to the performing or the visual arts, and all of us enjoy those things. But there are some real tangible benefits to it as well from a city point of view and for the businesses in the city. So I think it's a really important part of the fiber and the culture of the city to have a great arts community, and that's why Judy and I kind of took the bit and agreed to do this year. It's been a great experience.
Well, you're both business leaders, but you understand that when it comes to the arts, to have a symphony or a ballet that you're proud of, it's not going to pay for itself with admission to the events. No. It's just not a viable business model, if you will. And so the business community, in a sense, and the citizens of Oklahoma City have to come forward with operation dues beyond what they might pay for a membership or a ticket.
Yes, that's exactly right. And to even take that further, as we're talking about what brought us to that, my passion has been for access to the arts for children. And having been from a small town originally in Oklahoma, I wasn't exposed to nearly the kinds of things that we would like to have the opportunity to expose all the children, not only of Oklahoma City, but our state to. Because through Allied Arts, we have the opportunity to bring, actually last year we touched 321,000 children. And when you start thinking about what's happening in our schools without the kind of money that they need to have arts education, what we're trying to do is create that opportunity for them to come to the Museum of Art, come to the Science Museum, have an opportunity to see a show even at their school, because we have outreach programs through the arts. So that's a major part of what we want to accomplish also.
John, how many arts groups rely on Allied Arts for at least part of their funding?
Well, currently there are 20 arts groups that get funding from Allied Arts. When Allied Arts started in 1971, there were 4 groups, so groups have been added over time, and this year we've had, for the first time in a long time, we're going to add some groups. The selection process is still underway. We don't know how many, we don't know what groups, but we've had an enormous amount of interest from local arts groups to join Allied Arts because they see Allied Arts as an umbrella organization for the arts community. And so it'll be great to bring some more in and get more diversity and more exposure for Allied Arts and for the arts community in Oklahoma City.
The success of Allied Arts is now legend. It started in 1971, I assume just raising a few $1,000s, and now you guys have a pretty lofty goal this year.
Right. This year, our goal is $3.1 million, and so it's grown a lot. It's grown a lot even in the last 3 or 4 years, and so it's becoming a more and more important thing. And you know, the points that Judy made about the part of it that we don't all think about all the time is how much this impacts children, not only to give them exposure to the arts, but it teaches some tremendous life lessons. You know, lessons like teamwork and perseverance and you know, completing a task, and those kinds of things that will help them not only in terms of their exposure to the arts, but helps them in school and in life generally. So you know, all of those things come from this kind of a program.
And Judy, what's the easiest way for someone who's watching the show that want to contribute? How should they do that?
Well, an easy way is to call Allied Arts. We can go online to allied.arts.com and have the opportunity to participate that way. And we'll be happy to get the word out to anybody, and perhaps even could have that as a byline at the end of the program of the kinds of ways and the phone numbers and that sort of thing.
It's on the screen now.
That's great. Okay, that's perfect. Thank you so much for doing that. But we actually have all kinds of opportunities to give at different events. You know, there's events going on all of the time, and the different ways that you can give, we say a little give is all it takes, is that we are available for workplace meetings. A lot of our
So you'll send somebody to the workplace
yes.
to try to talk to the
Exactly.
employees about
Exactly.
opportunities?
Yeah, and that we've been very successful with that, because we really want the people, not just the leaders of the corporations or businesses, but everybody, because it's for everyone. So we want them to have an opportunity also to give.
Well, that's tremendous. And what's the timetable here, John?
Well, the campaign goes until the 30th of June, so there's lots of time to give, lots of time still for companies to get involved and have these workplace campaigns to get their employees involved. And we're just really ramping up now into the height of the season.
Well, every gift matters, and so first of all, thank you two for willing to serve as co-chairs and kind of heads up this community and come on and talk more about what Allied Arts is performing inside the city of Oklahoma City. And I urge you to give generously if you're in a position to do so to Allied Arts. The information is on the screen about how you can become a part of making sure that Oklahoma City is everything it can be to every last citizen, and also, as Judy pointed out, making sure that the kids of our community are exposed to the arts at a very early age. We'll have more on the Mayor's Magazine after this. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
You know, I give, and it's just never enough.
Seriously?
When people take you for granted, what can you do?
Water the grass, not the street!
Using drought-tolerant plants, watering early in the morning, adding some mulch, it's not that hard. If we want to use our water wisely, we got to squeeze more out of every drop.
SqueezeEveryDrop.com. Oh, I gotta go. I got a date with a lake.
I'm Lee Criswell with Street Maintenance. Help us while we repair your city streets. Please slow down and be alert in all work zones.
And welcome back to the Mayor's Magazine. I'm Mick Cornett, and this is our second segment for the April 2013 show. And of course, if it's April, you know that there's a Festival of the Arts just around the corner, and it's coming up at the end of this month. With me today are the co-chairs for this event. Linda Whittington is a manager for Corner Energy, and Daniel Adams is the first vice president of MidFirst Bank. Thank you both for coming on the show.
Thank you.
You've been the co-chairs. Now, you were explaining to me during the break that this is actually kind of a 2-year assignment, because you spend the first year as kind of co-chairs in waiting, and you had a term for that.
Understudies.
Understudy, okay. So last year, the two of you watched, and I imagine rolled up your sleeves more often than people would realize to get involved. But then this year, it kind of falls upon your shoulders. So
Absolutely correct.
This is a major assignment. I don't think people realize the infrastructure and the organization that goes in to putting on this 1-week event.
You're absolutely correct.
Get into that. Get into the makeup of the organization and the operations.
Well, you know, what it takes is over 5,000 volunteers to actually make Festival of the Arts
Say no more. I mean, there are people out there that have 5 people in a church group they're trying to organize, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to do it. And so you've got 5,000 people who are basically not clocking a paycheck, but they're just out there because they love the arts and they love Oklahoma City.
And the festival, it's just such a great place to be at. But Daniel and I start by working and calling almost 500 people to organize chairmen for all of the different committees that work. And so it's a lot of phone calls and a lot of meetings, but when you love what it is you're doing, you keep it up.
Yeah. Daniel, people usually gravitate toward two things, the art and the food. And when you're out pushing it, is that a 50-50 balance when people think of the Arts Festival, or do you think there's a different mix?
You know, I think there's a good balance there. There certainly are a good number of people who, when they think of the Arts Festival, they do think of Food Row, and we have a history of having some very fine culinary arts at our festival, and our jury process that we go through really is a big contributor to that success, because you know, as Linda mentioned, you know, some of the work we do early on is recruiting volunteers to work as day chairs and to fill those committees, and those committees work very hard, especially the food committee at the jury process, to make sure that we bring in you know, just the best quality.
So not just anybody can be a vendor at the Arts Festival. What is the process?
Well, as I said, it's a juried process. So food vendors are invited to submit their request to participate. They fill out an application, and then they're notified of when the jury is going to actually take place. It takes place over 3 evenings. Believe it or not, it takes a while to get through that many food vendors. We'll have about 45 to 50 food vendors that will apply, and we can take around 20.
Now, do they bring a sample?
They do.
Well, this
absolutely.
looks like a great
yeah.
committee to be on,
yeah,
if just for the jury process, if nothing else.
It is. It's a fun 3 evenings. That's
and
for sure.
How many will actually make the cut? Once
a little over 20 food vendors will be participating in the show, and most of those will be on Food Row, and then we have some food carts that are located throughout the festival grounds as well.
Okay. Well, Linda, is the process similar for the arts? I mean, obviously there are more artists that would like to be a part of it than you have space.
Absolutely, very, very much the same. We do a complete computer process now called the ZAP application, and so artists from across the country and even in Canada apply, and we have a number of applications, over 300 and some if I recall correctly, but for 144 spaces. So it's a tight process. We hire 3 professional jurors that are art people to come into Oklahoma City and actually go through a day of viewing all the slides and selecting the art that will be in the show.
And I guess Russell, I mean, Daniel, they'd like to have some sort of variety. I mean, you wouldn't want all art, oil on paint. You would want some who are doing all sorts of visual arts.
Absolutely, there's a very balanced mix between the different mediums. So everything from oils to watercolors, getting into the 3-dimensional works with wood and sculpture and glass. There's a jewelry category. So there's altogether 6 or 7 total different categories of mediums for the art. And as I said, it's balanced. So there's a specific number of slots for each medium, and the jury process works through that to make sure that the show has a good variety, so that as the art lovers and those interested in buying, when they come to the show, there's just a good variety there for them to see.
Are you looking for a mix of local artists and world-renowned artists, or are you looking for new people to come in to kind of change it up every year? How does that process work?
It does. It works. There's definitely a goal to have local artists involved in the Arts Festival, but we also pride ourselves in having a very professional art show. So artists from around the country know of our show and want to participate. We always have many more applicants than we can place, and that says a lot about the brand of the Oklahoma City Festival of the Arts.
Now, Linda, do the artists have to come? Can they just send their stuff and have someone sell it, or does the artist need to come?
No, they have to appear and be at the festival for the 6 days of the festival run. That's an important part of it, because the people can then actually meet, greet, talk to the artist about how they create their work and what goes into it. So it's very important that they're there during the entire week run of festival.
And sometimes I'll see an artist actually doing art during the festival,
which is always fun. It's always a fun thing to watch them do, and I think it's a good sales tool as well.
Do you still need volunteers?
Always need volunteers, and if anyone wants to volunteer and is interested, they can look on our website at artscouncilokc.com and there's lots of opportunities to volunteer. We always need them.
Okay, and we really haven't talked about the dates. I think they're on the screen, but it's Tuesday, April 23rd to Sunday, April 28th. How are those dates chosen?
It's a tradition. It's always encompassing the last weekend in the month of April is the last weekend for festival.
All right.
So festival runs Tuesday through the last Sunday in April.
And we're in a drought, and so we would love to have some rain. And it's not
We
unusual
would not
for
love
the
to
arts.
have rain that
But it's not unusual for the arts festival to coincide with with a day or so of rain.
Sometimes it occurs.
So you
We're
don't
open,
feel
rain or shine.
responsible. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I'm not responsible, and we're open, rain or shine, but we certainly aren't praying for rain that week. Let's bring it the week before or the week after.
The opening ceremonies will take place at lunchtime on Tuesday the 23rd, and the council and I will be attending. We're just following our council meeting of that day. And then, of course, it runs Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I tell you, I've been out there in rainy days, and I've been out there, when the sun shines, and I don't know which one I prefer, because there's something to be said about being part of a huge crowd and part of a big event, and then there's something about being out there and having the room to breathe and being able to walk around.
Very
so
true.
If the forecast for stormy weather, it's not necessarily a day to stay home from the arts festival. You might get out there and just enjoy it in a different manner.
It's the day to go. No long lines. You get to enjoy the art. You get to enjoy your food without waiting in a line. So it's a perfect time to go as well.
Well, we appreciate the two of you donating 2 years of pretty solid work into this effort, and the coordination of all these volunteers is very much appreciated.
Thank you. We enjoyed doing it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Linda Whittington and Danielle Adams, the co-chairs for the Arts Council of Oklahoma City. The Festival of the Arts coming up, as they said, the last weekend of the month of April. We'll have more on the Mayor's Magazine when we get back.
Could you stand a little fun in your life? Then look no further. The Oklahoma River Cruises tour the beautiful Oklahoma River. You can enjoy a fun-filled, family-friendly, climate-controlled adventure you won't forget, offering public cruises, exciting theme cruises, and private cruises tailored to your needs. Book your fun-filled cruise today. Log on to okrivercruises.com. Oklahoma River Cruises. Get on board.
Welcome back to the Mayor's Magazine. I'm Mick Cornett. This is our show for April 2013, and we're going to be talking this segment with Jim Keating. He's the Executive Director of the Parkinson's Foundation of Oklahoma. Jim, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mayor.
Now, we're having this show run during the month of April, but you've got a big event coming up just at the beginning of May, so we wanted to get you on in time to talk about this fundraising event that you have.
I appreciate that. Yes, May 4th will be our third annual Walk in the Park 5K run and 1 mile walk to benefit the programs and services of the Parkinson Foundation of Oklahoma.
That's true. And is this a fairly significant fundraiser for your event?
It is for us. We have two major fundraisers during the year, and this is one of them. Our goal is to raise about $60,000 for the programs and services that we offer. It will be at Stars and Stripes Park, Lake Hefner, and it's going to be a fun event. We'll have a lot of volunteers, a lot of activity, music. Rumble, the Thunder mascot, is planning to be there. So it's really a family-friendly, kid-friendly event, and it's, I mean, if you want to come and run or walk, it's fantastic for that. If you want to just support the foundation through your donations, then it's easy to do that as well.
You founded the organization 9 years ago. Great need because so many families are affected by Parkinson's. Give us some of the numbers on
yeah, they're surprisingly. There are about 15,000 people in Oklahoma affected at any one time with Parkinson's disease. And so you figure in Oklahoma City area, there are probably 5,000 people who are affected by it. Many of those folks are older, some are not. It really can affect people of any age. Primarily, it does strike people 60 plus. A decent percentage of people do have to deal with Parkinson's disease, characterized by many times a resting tremor, or rigidity, or a lack of balance or slowness of movement.
Where are we in the research? I know they'd love to find a cure.
Yeah, everybody wants to find a cure, and there are significant treatments for the disease that are available right now for anyone who's been diagnosed with Parkinson's. Treatments are always kind of tricky because you have to go through FDA approval, and some of them work great, some of them not so great. But what I've seen in 9 years in the business is that the treatments and the medications are much more effective and much friendlier to the body and fewer side effects. So there's always research going on. There are foundations like the Michael J. Fox Foundation who focus on research, and we're very hopeful and optimistic of better treatments and hopefully a cure within the next several years.
Now, is your organization only involved in finding a cure, or are there other services that you provide in relationship to the disease?
Yeah, primarily we do families services like support groups, exercise groups. We now offer speech therapy through a partnership we have with Integris, as well as physical therapy. We have conferences in Oklahoma City and Tulsa every year, as well as we do many family consultations. Typically what happens is that the neurologist will diagnose the patient with Parkinson's disease, give the patient medication, and then say, that's great, we'll see you in about 6 months. What we do as the Parkinson Foundation is we try to help these people navigate, the Parkinson's people and their families navigate through the challenges of Parkinson's disease with those support groups, exercise groups, speech therapy, physical therapy, and try to refer them to the services that can help them in addition to the services that they get from their neurologist.
There are probably people out there watching who have a family member who might already have Parkinson's. How can they get in touch with the organization?
The best way is to call us, and we'll arrange a family consultation at 405-810-0695, or on our website. You can always gain access to the website at parkinsonoklahoma.com.
And again, give me the details on the big event coming up on May 5th at Stars and Stripes Park at Lake Hefner. It's called a Walk in the Park.
Walk in the Park for Parkinson's disease, May 4th. Be there 9 o'clock. Actually, the race starts at 9 o'clock, so be there at 8:30. Have your picture taken with Rumble. Bring the kids and expect some great food and great fellowship. As I said, it's a 5K or a 1 mile walk, and everybody's invited to come.
And people can sign up for the run on the website?
Yes.
All right. Jim Keating is the Executive Director of the Parkinson's Foundation of Oklahoma. Thanks for coming on the Mayor's Magazine.
Thank you, Mayor.
We have one more segment after this.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
And we are back on the Mayor's Magazine. April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, and here to help guide us through some exploratory concepts is Billy Brown. She's the Executive Director of Parents Promise, and Sarah Jaguna, who is a family support worker. Thank you all both for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
This is such a wonderful thing for you all to be offering, education for not only parents but other people who just might come in contact with the baby and may not realize the many number of ways that child abuse can take place.
That's correct.
Yeah, and so just to make sure that we have enough time, I know Sarah has brought in this baby that this is an actual model of what you take into, say, a classroom or perhaps a new parent, but it kind of shows the dangers of what can happen if a baby is shaken. So just to make sure we have enough time, why don't we do that first, Sarah?
Absolutely.
Talk us through it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So this is the demonstration I do, and the baby will start crying.
And a lot of times it's because there's a parent that is frustrated with the baby crying.
And so just that small amount of shaking.
That much shaking, and it affected the child's whole brain, and the areas lit up that it affected, and it was the whole brain. And so it shows that it just takes a few hard shakes to permanently damage this child's life.
And Oklahoma seems to have, a specific concern about domestic violence in general and child abuse in particular. So this outreach that you all are doing is so valuable to us. What services are available, Billy?
Well, we operate through grants, and we have a grant through the State Health Department for home visitations. We also, and that's our main program is the home visitations, but we also do public awareness, and that's where the Prevent Child Abuse Oklahoma comes in, where we go out and let people know, like doing demonstrations at schools and working with groups to show them, about what can happen to children so easily, and also do trainings on recognizing child abuse symptoms. But we mainly are a prevention program, not intervention. And intervention happens, of course, after abuse has taken place, but our goal is to stop it before it ever happens.
If a parent is going through some sort of prenatal care or going through pre-baby classes, is this type of education provided to them?
Yes, it is. And I know that the state of Oklahoma offers several programs, and Children's First is one of them. Ours is, we have to have the baby at, if you're 29 weeks pregnant or more, then you come into our program, but before that you would go into a Children's First program. And they are home visitation programs. And the education department has Parents as Teachers, which comes in after that. So,
Sarah, what do people usually not realize before you give your demonstration and after you give? What do they learn when they've interacted with you in your demonstration?
Well, in this demonstration, it's kind of a shocking feeling that they tend to tell me about, that how frustrating it is when the baby's crying this hard, and how easy it is to cause permanent damage to a baby. And it's very sobering for them, I think, to see this. And many of them have expressed that to me. They've just said, wow, that's scary. I'm saying, yeah, it is. So we talk about things that they can do, like laying the baby down when they get frustrated, calling somebody. It's better to let the baby cry and lay them down in a safe place than to do something that permanently affects their life.
Billy, if people want to interact with your organization, if they know of a new parent who might not be exposed to some of these ideas, what should they do? Who can they contact?
They can contact us at Parent Promise. You can visit our website, parentpromise.org, or just call us at 405-232-2500. And if we cannot help them, we will find a resource for them. And that's one of our goals, too, is to always connect families with resources that will be able to help them.
And we'd like to think that, intervention would never be necessary. But if someone's watching and they suspect that someone might need to intervene, what's the process there?
Well, you can just call the hotline, which is 1-800-CHILDREN, and we will talk with them about it, because in the state of Oklahoma you have a mandatory reporting, so if you suspect it, then you should report it.
Well, that's good to know. So yes. If people suspect reporting, they're required
yes, by state law
to get in touch with local authorities on behalf of the child.
Yes.
All right. Well, we certainly appreciate the work that you all do. It's so valuable, and I'm sure you all wish your staff was twice as large, because I'm sure that the demand is out there. People aren't stopping having babies, and with our population increase, it's only going to get a larger and larger issue.
Yeah, and people can come out. We are actually going to do a Field of Flags on April 9th at the state capitol. Child abuse prevention for CAP Day is April 9th. April 8th is the Flag Day. So we have a lot of things in April coming up. We would love for people to check our website for the information, but mark your calendars for April 9th and April 8th, and we would love to have you come out to the state capitol.
Great, and again, that web address?
parentpromise.org.
All right, Billy Brown is the Executive Director of Parents Promise, and Sarah Jaguna is a Family Support Worker. Thank you both.
Thank you.
And we want to give you this pen and this t-shirt today.
Well, thanks very much. And the t-shirt says April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and the pin is symbolic of what?
Pinwheels for Prevention.
All right.
Blue pinwheel.
Yeah.
A cause we all need to get more involved with. Thank you all for your work.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that's going to do it for this April edition of the Mayor's Magazine. Thank you so much for being a part of our show. We'll be back next month with the May edition of the Mayor's Magazine, and I'll see you then.